Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call, through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken.
Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.
A pulse of light, let it begin. The night dissolves, the day will spin. Rise awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken. Climb, rise awakenings, now is the Start with the quiet parts, the things you hide behind your laugh. Sit with the ache a while. Let every question breathe and ask, who was I trying to be? Who am I when I just stay? Name every tender scar and let them have their say. Till your heart carries you. This is the blue.
Pages of old beliefs, stories that kept you playing small. Lay them out on the floor, see which ones never fit at all. Offer your younger self a kindness you never.
From the soil of your sorrow.
This is the blue. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to The Bloom. If you're new here, the content shared in this podcast is based on my personal experience and knowledge I've gained along my educational and healing journeys. I'm still on the journey. The information is shared in the greatest degree of love and is intended to resonate with whoever it may to assist in your healing journey. Please feel free to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And remember, this is a judgment-free, safe space, so please refrain from any form of bullying, harassment, or toxic behavior. If you cannot hold space with us, you will be removed. Chat questions will be answered in the order for which they are received in relation to the topic, and I will get to as many as time allows. And to the man behind the curtain, Micah, aka Papa, thank you for putting the questions on the screen and following the chat for me because it goes too fast for me. If you feel called to dive deeper into your own personal growth and evolution, I am a transformational coach, trauma specialist, Reiki master teacher, as well as a fully ordained minister for hire. I would be honored to guide you through your specific needs. So you can book with me on my website, healingrose.org, and let us dive in. Whew. Okay. This topic was inspired by a friend I've made here in Columbus recently who has shown up very differently than a lot of people around me here in Columbus, since I'm still kind of new here. So I wanted to talk about it for a little bit. The world outside can be incredibly rigid, hard, callous, pressed, rushed, stubborn, right? So today we're going to explore something the world often misunderstands, something that many of us are taught to hide, suppress, and armor over. Today we talk about the power of softness in the body, mind, and spirit. It's not weakness, not fragility, not passivity, but sacred softness, the kind rooted in love, awareness, compassion, and inner strength. Softness creates safety, and I feel as though I'm getting the most important message out right out the gate. Softness creates safety. Softness is one of the most powerful forces for safety that exists. When we soften our tone, when we soften our posture, when we soften our need to be right, we send the signal to nervous systems around us that you are safe here. Safety is the foundation to vulnerability, and vulnerability is the foundation to connection. We talked about that last week, how we're all connected to one another. If you missed it, go check out the replay. People do not open in the presence of force or coercion. They open in the presence of gentleness. Softness tells others, you don't have to defend yourself here. You don't have to perform here, and you don't have to hide your truth here. And consistent softness creates the emotional space where honesty can breathe. Softness also expands your perspective. We talked about that last week too. When we are hard and rigid, we grip to our viewpoint. We see this in politics. We see this at the office. We see this at the grocery store, in your home. We see this tightness, this rigidity. But when we soften, we can hold space for our truth without squeezing out someone else's. Softness allows us to say, I am open to learning about your experience. Softness slows the reaction and makes room for curiosity and clarity, and makes the room hold space. Instead of you're wrong, softness asks, help me understand your experience and perspective. And the simple shift transforms conflict into connection. And that connection has clarity. Softness recalibrates the nervous system. And this is important for everybody because I know we've all been through some stuff. Softness recalibrates the nervous system. It's medicine for the body. When we soften our breath, our muscles, our voice, our thoughts, we signal to our nervous system that the threat has passed. And softness moves us from our sympathetic nervous system, the flight or fight, defensiveness, that cortisol dump that we get when our amygdala's hijacking our body.
And we shift with softness into the parasympathetic nervous system, where we can rest and digest, be open to receiving, and have regulated emotions. In softness, our heart rates slow down and steady. Breathing deepens, so we're no longer holding our breath or hyperventilating for any reason. We have mental clarity in softness because we're allowing our amygdala to stop hijacking our executive function, right? And that allows for the clarity to come in. And it also allows for empathy to become accessible to all. A soft nervous system is not a weak one, it's a regulated one. And softness changes how we show up for ourselves. We talked about how we're showing up last week in the world. So this is how we're showing up for ourselves. With softness, we become, we have more kindness towards ourselves, and we allow ourselves to rest without guilt. And we allow ourselves to forgive ourselves faster, and we stop abandoning our own feelings and needs. We're not coming from that hard space of pushing ourselves through with criticism, motivating ourselves with shame, and driving ourselves with fear. Because healing does not bloom in harsh soil. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be soft with ourselves to feel safe with ourselves without abandoning our own feelings and needs. Okay? We don't bully ourselves into becoming better. We love ourselves into becoming whole and peaceful. And that only happens when we're soft. Softness is not passivity. That does not mean we're going to say yes when we mean no. It does not mean we're going to tolerate harm or abuse or anything that doesn't resonate like that. We are not going to shrink ourselves to keep other people comfortable. And we're certainly not going to avoid the truth, even if it's ugly, to avoid conflict. That is the definition of self-abandonment, not softness. True softness includes loving, firm boundaries. Okay? Examples of this is, this doesn't work for me. However, I am open to ... insert your needs. I want connection and I will need this boundary honored. I choose peace and therefore I need to step back. You can say stuff like this. They're loving boundaries. Okay. Softness can hold a boundary without cruelty, and you can say no without hatred. It can be without hatred. You know, when you say no, it's a full sentence. You don't have to have any kind of feelings around it. Okay. Softness and strength, they go hand in hand. Softness is strength with an open heart. It's strength, not dominance. Dominance is rigid and overpowering. Softness is grounded enough that we don't need to overpower, whether it's to prove a point or something else, right? We don't need defensiveness. We don't need any of that stuff when we're grounded in softness. Dominance demands respect. Softness earns trust, which leads to respect, and that is sustainable and maintainable. Just as water is soft and yet it shapes a stone, the heart is soft and yet it carries us through unimaginable things. And that's why softness is in healing for survivors of abuse is a must. Softness is healing for abuse survivors. For those who have survived abuse, our own hardness was often protection, hypervigilance, bracing ourselves, armoring up our emotions. You know, we become emotionally unavailable too. That's us being hard. Those are not flaws. They're just brilliant survival strategies to get us out of dangerous situations and toxic situations. But what helps us survive will not be what helps us feel safe right now. So softness, when we choose it, becomes a part of our healing. Okay? Safe softness helps the nervous system learn that the danger is not happening right now. It gently unwinds chronic tension in the body. Maybe right now you'll notice a moment of you having something in your body that you're holding tension in, right? Maybe take this moment to see if you're holding any tension in your body. It helps us rebuild connection, one tiny moment at a time, one tiny experience at a time. That softness opens the door for connection. For survivors, softness allows for things to unfold in their own divine timing. It allows for clarity for the processing, and it gives us permission to have boundaries, needs, and rest. And sometimes the softest thing a survivor can say is a firm no, period. That's it. It's not regression, it's safety being rebuilt from the ground up. Softness and neurodivergent nervous systems, that's something that is more required than anything else, because we are also survivors of abuse, us neurospicy folks. We're inherently more traumatized than neurotypicals because we're more criticized and misunderstood and isolated, I'm going to say. So many of us move through this world that feels very loud, too bright, too fast, too socially demanding, too overstimulating, especially if you're extremely sensitive to other frequencies and in tune with your intuition like that. Hard environments will definitely overwhelm us very, very quickly. So for neurospices, our nervous systems, the softness helps us co-regulate. The gentle tones instead of the sharp voices helps us feel safer. The predictability instead of sudden pressure helps us regulate. Acceptance instead of constant correction helps us stay regulated. Do you see how like it can affect our nervous system if we don't have that safety and that softness that comes from this softness that leads to the safety. It gives us space to move, stim without pause and without shame. And that's, I think, important for a lot of us. I stim. Look at me touching my face. This is stimming. That's okay. I'm neurospicy. I'm going to stim. I got to do it. You guys don't judge me. So it's good because this is a soft, safe space. With softness, you don't have to force yourself to mask to make other people feel comfortable, right? And the self-softness asks, what does my nervous system need right now? Instead of, why can't I handle this like everyone else, right? That little mindset shift reduces shame exponentially and increases our trust of ourselves. Because one of the biggest problems for neurospices is to question ourselves, right? We don't get softness very often. Softness is accessibility. When we choose softness, we create spaces where survivors don't feel pushed. Neurodivergent people don't feel judged. Sensitive people don't feel like they're too much. And strong people don't feel like they always have to be hard. Softness widens the doorway to belonging, and it helps us move from surviving to feeling safe enough to live our lives. Whew, that's a statement. And if you're a survivor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Softness invites repair. It strengthens intuition, increases emotional quotient, breaks generational cycles of hardness. We've all grown up in very hard environments. And softness deepens our spiritual connection to ourselves and all that is, right? The divine meets us not in force, but in openness and surrender. So let's open up the chat and talk about what's going on in your world that needs more softness, or in what ways have you experienced not having softness and how did it affect you? And understanding how softness can help you in your healing process, right? Cash Angel, thank you. You say, I won't judge you, and I hope it helps that not to judge yourself. So so you might do the same. Yes, exactly. And that's the whole point of me doing the bloom is this is me. I mean, I'm awkward and quirky and this is me. But the softness that I'm bringing, I'm hoping helps you guys feel safe as well and able to use this as a space, a safe space for you to help each other grow. Polygemra says, LOL, I am trying, but I'm bullish and need somewhat of a firm hand to stay on track. Okay, so that's where you pep talk yourself. You can definitely be that loving firmness with yourself. And that's learning new ways to talk to yourself, because we do need to learn a whole new language of softness. We're taught very hard language. We're taught to be bullies to ourselves. We're taught to shame ourselves. We're taught to do all these horrible things to ourselves. And, you know, if you've been listening to Mike and I for the last 3 years, all we keep telling you to do is love yourself. That includes boundaries for yourself. I would not be able to function if I didn't say no to myself. If I didn't have hard boundaries for myself, I would not be able to function, because we do get distracted. We do get off track. We do whatever we do in order to survive ourselves every day. And boundaries are the most important thing for us to follow for ourselves. So it's just adding it with love without judgment for yourself. Polygammer says, I grew up in a house where my mom yelled a lot. As a new parent, especially when my ex was in the picture, I found myself falling into this pattern. The harsh irony is I hate yelling. Oh, I feel you on that one. It literally hit me like a ton of bricks one day. So I put my foot down and changed the habit to better align with my core. Yes, this helped me identify why I yell. Yes, which is usually a panic response, like a trigger. Oh, polyamorous, that is amazing. What a great intuit. Absolutely. Let's talk about that for a minute. The nervous system responds to abuse and how softness can shape, especially softness towards self, can shape how you move going forward and what that does for your kids. Especially for us moms and dads and uncles and aunts who are deeply connected to a child somewhere, or whatever, you know, the dynamic is. And have an integral part in that child's life. If we are the example and they see us being hard and critical and shameful all the time, that's what they're going to learn they are. And then that they're going to adopt that language as well. So it's kind of up to us to learn to speak differently and to find communication that's different. And if you're yelling still, then there's obviously a reason for it, and something pushed you to that point. And no shame. It's understanding why that's still coming up for you. And Polygammer says, I usually only yell to get their attention now. Yeah. Because of the selective hearing that they have. Oh, goodness. Hi, Michael. I see you. I don't see Justin on here, though, yet. And good morning to all the new people. I see some new faces here. So let's go back to how the nervous system of abuse survivors respond to softness. Let's talk about how that feels safe and why that feels safe. The Achilles heel for all of us, or the kryptonite for all of us, is anger, right? Abuse survivors experience a ton of anger because that anger, rooted in fear, is at the forefront of every attack, of every injustice and violation that we end up receiving in abusive relationships and dynamics. Oh, I'm sorry. Michael is Justin. Oh, that's so funny. How did I not know that? How did I not know that? I know that now. That's funny. Thank you. That's fantastic. Hi, Linda. Okay, so that softness that we bring to ourselves, helping us feel safe with ourselves, starts in the nervous system. And you can, like I mentioned in my talk, you can feel the difference when you're paying attention to where the tension lies inside of your body. And what you can do for yourself to bring in softness for yourself in that moment is to take a slow, deep breath into those parts of your body that feel tense, that are experiencing that, bracing yourself habit that's formed from abuse, right? Becoming emotionally available to ourselves without judgment allows us to soften ourselves. And we'll notice a difference too moving forward. The kinder we are to ourselves, the more we notice our body is relaxed. And it's a challenge for neurospicy folks too, because we're normally in high alert because we're so sensitive and we're receiving so much all the time that it takes a little extra for us to relax our system, right? So that softness towards ourselves is paramount in getting us to a place of healing and safety. So I put abuse survivors and neurospices kind of like back to back, but not in the same category, because there are different nuances with neurospices that, uh, and that there's a lot of information out there that says, well, neurospicy is just because of abuse and trauma, but no, get more educated than that and expand your knowledge on what neurospicy entails and what that means for their nervous system. It's not the same thing. It exacerbates trauma, having that different brain function and nervous system. It makes it worse to experience. And I see here that it says, I feel a lot of hardness is learned behavior from our parents. We watch them growing up and we pick up as we go. Absolutely. That's it. We all learn terrible things. We all learn things that are not resonating with us now because we're at a different place as a society with the internet. We've got all this information. We're seeing people and hearing people say different things than we were taught. And that's opening up our whole world. So that softness to give ourselves the opportunity to learn someone else's perspective, not being rigid with ourselves, to close ourselves off to one viewpoint, which is the one that the faulty one we grew up with, gives us space to evolve and grow. So it all starts with the softness of the self, because when we're soft with ourselves, we give ourselves permission to learn something different and new so that we can move away from what our parents taught us. You're right. Thank you for saying that, Cash Angels. It's definitely intense. I did say worse, and nothing's worse because trauma is trauma, period. But I just meant, you're right. Intense is a much better way to say that. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And Micah said, many begin to question themselves when they are presented with be softer with yourself and wind up in their head spiraling out. Okay, so let me clear that up so that you're not going to spiral out. Thank you for saying that, Micah. So when we're being softer with ourselves, we're not trying to criticize ourselves. This is where we need to remove the self-judgment. We need to be curious. We need to have the idea of understanding ourselves from a heart-centered space that's loaded with compassion, not with judgment and shame and bullying, basically. So if it feels like you're putting yourself down, that's not softness, and you're going to get stuck in that spiral, that trap. Okay? Instead, catch yourself with a negative thought pattern and flip it right there and then, and allow yourself to just be present with yourself so that you can learn what to do better next time. And it's not like that there was something wrong with what you did. It's you are witnessing that it doesn't resonate with you and it doesn't align with you and it doesn't add value to your experience. It's making you feel bad about yourself. So better meaning your nervous system will rest more and relax more when you are kind and compassionate and gentle. In essence, that's kind of the base of reparenting your inner child. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. When all of you are interested in the healing journey, you're going to hear reparenting your inner child. It starts with having compassion for yourself and advocating for yourself in ways that you never got advocated for. Okay? So in essence, you're learning how to love yourself, starting with seeing yourself through the eyes of compassion and understanding, like you're a child that needs love and understanding. Linda Stewart says, yep, I had a moment where I was able to treat my mother the same way, to treat her like she was treating me my whole life. And it felt so good. And in the middle of it, it made me realize I had just turned, ooh, yeah, wow, into her. And it really was an eye-opener. Absolutely. Right. We see the mirror of ourselves. We recognize the mirror of ourselves when we're experiencing it firsthand from a self-aware place. So kudos for the self-awareness that there is in this group. This is amazing. I love how self-aware we all are, and that's the most important part to begin the process of holding space and compassion for yourself, to be the safe person for yourself to start out with, right? Polyamorous, I see you. I know we're all our own best and worst critic, and it's fine to want to improve ourselves, and that's what this whole growth and evolution process is about. The idea is not to not do that. The idea is to shift how you approach yourself. Softness. And here we go. Oh, trust me, I have so much so that I have a sort of angel versus devil thing going on. Funny how we go through cycles with healing. Yes, we learn a lesson, but must learn it again and again until we finally conquer. Sorry, our demons. Right. Even then, they are merely. Wait, let me find it. There's the rest somewhere. They are merely leashed. Yes, yes. And I think that's a very important point, is that everything is cyclical. That is coming from that space of compassion for yourself. We do need to make space for repeat lessons, for repeat things to come up again and again. Not because we didn't learn our lessons or we're stupid or we can't get it right or none of that bullying stuff that has been a past version of ourselves. Just from that space of softness and compassion and understanding that, yay, we figured out a next level. Key level up music. Once I became so angry at the world telling me how to live healthy, I had it. I didn't care anymore. Took a big French fry and mayonnaise and Coca-Cola with alcohol. Thought I was kicking everything, but then I felt so held and grounded. And for 3 days, I knew what life was all about. There, I began to try to love myself. Wow, that's powerful. That's what happens. We got to get sick of it. We have to trigger ourselves in order to choose to do things differently. And I'm so grateful and so proud of all of you for choosing differently and for choosing this healing journey. It's not pretty all the time. You're going to trigger yourself a lot. Polyamorous says, here I am again, learning, growing, and attempting to do better myself. But wait, I haven't been here before. Yes. Every new experience is an experience for us to examine how we're showing up for ourselves first and foremost, because that's going to dictate how we show up for others. The softer we are with ourselves, the softer we are outside of ourselves, with those loving and firm boundaries. And it doesn't mean that we can fly off the handle when our abuser is attacking us. It means we're going to adopt techniques and tactics to navigate through that and choose to step away what doesn't resonate with us. Okay. And that's very, very hard, especially in abusive situations, because it could get more dangerous when you leave or when you separate from that dynamic. So make sure you're reaching out to your local resources that assist you through that entire process and get all the resources that you need to walk you through that entire process, from legal assistance to emotional assistance. There's plenty of organizations in I don't know about out of the country, but I'm sure there's plenty of organizations outside the country as well as here from state to state. So get yourself assistance to do that in a productive and damage controlling way. I don't want to say healthy because there's no healthy way to get out of it. It's going to be a challenge no matter what, but you're going to shift how you get through it. You're not going to get caught up in those cycles that are thrown at you from the trauma. Okay. True love can be destroyable. It makes new universes. Cash Angel says that. Yes. So I feel as though we are love, and the reminder that we are love helps us soften. And the reminder that who we resonate with when we are still on our journey is who we resonate with at the time. And we need to resonate with that person at the time in order for us to see ourselves and see the things that need to be illuminated and loved and cared for and healed. That's a mirror. So the truth is we love ourselves because we see ourselves in others. And the truth is we are love. So all we have to do is take that love and keep moving forward with it. We don't unlove people, we just distance ourselves. Okay? There's good and bad in every circumstance and situation. And I'm not saying that you have to love your exes or anything or some people in your family. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Don't misunderstand. What I'm saying is that we are love and love is us. And that being said, we can just love way over here while they're way over there. Okay? Love doesn't come without boundaries. And we are going to have true love many times, sometimes. It's not often, it's instant. Okay, so one of the hardest parts when we are faced with harshness is not falling into the ego of survival and staying present in softness. Correct. Correct. So that's also a way to put soft boundaries on yourself, loving, firm boundaries on yourself. Okay. We don't want to get put into that ego trap because they're baiting us. It's like we're taking the bait. So that's the reframe. The reframe is what's actually happening right now. When you're soft, you have the clarity to realize something's actually happening where they're attempting to provoke you intentionally. And with their harshness and with their words and with whatever it is they're saying, you want to jump to defend yourself. You don't need to defend yourself. A cheetah doesn't have to say they run 85 miles per hour. We just know. So allow yourself to step into that greater sovereignty for yourself with the softness so that you can allow those firm boundaries for yourself that says, no, we're not going to play this game. We're stepping out. Polygenius says, I think I learned early, if I'm hard on myself, others won't be. Oof, God, girl, I felt that one. That screams of people pleaser. Because we end up, being hard on ourselves because we're taking on responsibility for everyone and everything and everyone's emotions around us, right? We don't need to do that. We need to be soft with ourselves and decide, no, I'm not responsible for anyone else. I'm responsible for myself. And I love myself enough to say, no, thank you. That doesn't resonate with me and this is not aligned. I'm going to step back. Okay. I know. Oh my God, that is so people pleaser. I've been there myself. I so know. Oh, that was you, Michael, on Linda's account. Okay, gotcha. This is too much for me to keep track of, so I'll just pay attention to what gets put over here. Let's see. We have, what do we have? We have Polyamorous. Yes. Oh, Polyamorous. I'm going to say this out loud. Why not in honor of you? Because you're worth it. Celebrating the Super Bowl food and life. Listen, whatever you need to do to honor yourself and to give yourself the love and support that you need in order to know your worth and realize your worth, please do it. There's so many different things that we've taught you and that you're going to learn from here to give yourself the gift of self-care. Cash Angel says at Polyamorous, I feel that. Then I saw the others still doing the harshness they do. So I better be nice to me. Yeah. Now I missed the last part. But then again, now I go looking for negative attention sometimes, and that's an excuse to release the silver tongue demon that waits to leash within. Oh, I felt that one too. So true, right? We want to jump back into old patterns because we have to get it out. We have to get it out of our bodies. So this is where we do mirror work. This is where we do writing, exercises. This is where we do whatever techniques are going to give you permission. Like I have a telephone from the 1960s or whatever, 50s or something that my clients can tell someone off on. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those things that there are healthy ways to get that anger out. You're allowed to be pissed off. You're supposed to feel not okay with being mistreated, right? You're allowed to be pissed off. We're not saying not to be pissed off with softness. The softness allows you space to be pissed off. It allows you space to hold your own emotions and to leash them out and lash them out without presenting as that tongue that you were talking about to the other person, because that's the energy that they want you to have. So that's playing their game. And the idea is to understand we're not playing their game. We are going to go ahead and we are going to change how we show up. Ball and fist, put it under your chin, open your mouth, take a deep breath and silently scream or scream into a pillow, whichever's more comfortable. Yes. Yes, we have to give ourselves pause. I have a question. Does that voice in your head that's constantly questioning every choice or doubting you ever truly go away, or does it just get easier to ignore? Okay, so we're not ignoring it. Don't ignore it. If that voice is coming up, say, why do I feel that way? Where did I learn that? Who said that to me through the years? How many people have said that to me through the years? Do I really feel that way about myself? Let me prove the opposite to myself by reflecting on my own experience and finding the opposite of what that negative thought is, so I can affirm myself and then slowly get myself to believe, because I'm proving it to myself, that I am not that negative thought. And that negative thought was planted in me many moons ago. Okay, does that help? I hope that helps. That's the softness with yourself piece. Yes, the shadow work, right? The shadow work. We have to see ourselves from the light of what kind of bad information do I have to unlearn so that I can learn how to communicate with myself in a way that is going to keep me regulated, going to keep me clear. Like, think of it this way. If you guys are familiar with military stuff, I like to use the analogy, more commander, less drill sergeant. You're still speaking, but it's regulated, it's firm, it's solid, it's clear, it's relevant, and it's kind. Right? Well, I'm making assumptions that commanders are all that. They may not be. It's the idea that you're not screaming. It's the idea that you're not screaming at yourself or being mean to yourself, because that part of our reparenting our inner child is to stop being the bullies that all we ever knew was bullies, to stop being those bullies to ourselves. Okay. And that's where the softness comes in. And when we're soft with ourselves, I can't stress it enough, we end up being soft outside of ourselves as well. Right. Most days I can answer all those questions and ignore it. Other days I lay in bed because I can't fight it anymore. Okay. So we're not ignoring it anymore. And we're going to give them love every time they come up, because there's new layers of them to reflect on. There's new layers of them to love, to illuminate, to show compassion, to allow yourself to heal through. And do whatever you need to do in order to move yourself through it. If you need to do mirror work and, all the other tools, work with crystals, whatever you're into, whatever works for you. Do what you need to do, practicing, processing those emotions. I am learning, Polyjamma says, I am learning my negativity is nothing to be buried. It must be alleviated or levied. I can't read today. It must be levied against my positive in order to bring balance. Yes. Yes. We need to reflect on those shadows. We need to illuminate those shadows with softness so that we can move through those in the healing process. I think that becoming a safe space for ourselves is really the most important piece of that softness. We can't become the safe space for ourselves if we're not approaching ourselves with the gentleness and the kindness and the understanding and the awareness of our own humanness is not a flaw. Our own survival mode is not a flaw. We're not bad people. We're just hurt. And then we're in fear. And then we get mad because it's confusing and it's frustrating. It's a process for us to learn how to be soft with ourselves. But it starts with stopping the self-sabotaging behaviors, the self-deprecation, the self-criticism, the self-doubt. We always have to be mindful of replacing those thoughts with a thought that's going to be productive and add value to our experience to help us empower ourselves to our sovereignty, right? Hold on, I can even tell you whose voice it is. Most of the time it's not mine, but nice spent so long desperate for her attention that I'd take a negative because it was something. So now I carried out because it is all I ever got. Okay, yeah, it's what you're familiar with. We're looking to, and he says, so I'm having to train myself out of the mindset negative attention isn't okay. It's just because at least it's something. Exactly. Exactly. We deserve so much better than the negative attention. That's severe neglect. That sounds like the experience of someone who's been severely neglected. I have seen this before where the negative echo repeats or ghosts of the past trauma haunts us. When we feel abandoned, rejected, neglected, we're going to have those negative voices really, really, really loud. And so we are going to train our mindsets to be different by replacing those negative thoughts with the new healthier ones. We have to learn what those are. So we expand our perspective and we allow ourselves to be kind to ourselves. We stop the sabotaging behavior. We stop lying to ourselves based on what's familiar because someone else said it. And at the root of softness, I think, is reminding yourself, give me a clean slate. I got to give myself a clean slate. Okay, what did I just learn about myself today? What am I experiencing today? How am I feeling today? Where am I at today? Every day is a new experience and necessary. And then the toss in all the potential, and then toss in all the potential tools that are presented, the tendency of getting mental about them, which only adds to the problem if you get mental, right? If we're soft with ourselves, we're not going to get mental about it. Just leave it go. Just use your intuition and let it be what it is and decide what tools you're going to use. No judgment. Again, that's self-sabotaging. We're getting rid of the self-sabotaging behavior. We're not going to judge ourselves. We're not going to have expectations. We're going to make deadlines that we know we can meet. We're going to be realistic, basically, if we have things that we want to do. We're going to allow ourselves permission to hold space for ourselves like we're helping a child, literally, because really when we're hurt, it's that child that didn't get their needs met, that was abandoned, that was rejected, that was neglected. So understand, don't shit all over your pain. No shitting. Yes. I still need to get a shoulda-bird somewhere here. We cannot shit on ourselves. We need to be kind. We need to be understanding, and we need to be the champion for ourselves that we didn't get. Okay, because then that softness translates out into the world, and then you find your people, right? You find those who truly resonate with your heart. When you're soft with yourself, you can actually be authentic. You can actually be who you're supposed to be. And people are going to be drawn to you and be attracted to who you are. And that feels so good. That feels so much better than negative attention, right? That feels so much better than people pleasing and setting ourselves on fire and abandoning ourselves. We abandon ourselves because we were abandoned, so we were taught that that's what we deserved. That's not true. You are worthy and you are worth it. You do need to give yourself love. I will give you all the positive attention you don't think you deserve. Yes. Yes. Don't forget to give that to you. That's the other piece. We give of ourselves to others to lift them up because we don't want them to feel like we felt. We felt like crap going through that stuff. We don't want people to feel the same way. Bubble Kitten says, I've been told all my life I'm too kind, too loving, too accepting, too soft, too nice. There's no such thing as too any of that. What you're lacking is boundaries. You're never too kind. You're never too loving. You're never too accepting, and you're never too soft. You're in the wrong company and you need boundaries. The right company is going to be soft along with you. I am a lovist. I have lovist friends. I surround myself with people who lift me up and love me as I love them and I lift them up. I don't surround myself anymore with individuals that are of a vibration that is not gonna be kind to me, because that's going to trigger negative self-thought. It comes back into your space because that energy is coming into your space. So that's a thing you can pay attention to too. If you start revisiting certain old beliefs that are negative, you can reflect on who's in your space and why are you feeling that way? What's reminding you of what you used to experience and what looks really familiar to you? The other hard part is seeing how two different people both didn't love a child they made, and wait, I don't want to lose it. And there was only one common denominator. So it's hard to train yourself that it wasn't you. Absolutely, it's hard to train yourself that it wasn't you. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. And then once you get into the groove and you start to learn how to empower and love yourself through things and flip the mindset and the script, it's not hard anymore. It's, ooh, this is challenging. I sensed myself triggered. Yay, Diane, for noticing. Okay, what do I need to focus on and what do I need to pay attention to? What needs to become in my awareness? And Bubble Kitten says, so I started thinking I was weakness and not strength. Yes, I've tried going the other way, but I can't do it. I'm built to love and encourage and uplift others. Doing it for myself, though, not so much. Right. So that's your challenge. Your challenge is to do it for yourself, to be that safe space for yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to feel what you give to others. You know how to do it. A lot of folks say, well, I don't know how. You know how to do it for others. Because you know how to do it for others, you do know how to do it for yourself. It's just a choice, you know what I mean? And you're choosing to by doing the healing work. Cash angels, what they're lacking is the capacity of seeing the strength of all that they're judging as too much. Yeah. People can only meet you at the capacity at which they know and love themselves. So when you're dealing with individuals who can't see you, can't understand you, don't want to see past their own lens and eyes, those are hard, rigid people. They don't really align with you. We want to get away from those folks because they lack the capacity to meet you where you're at. They do. They're on their own healing journey and they're not caught up to you yet in that sense. Cash angels, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't need to be hard on ourselves by putting boundaries for them. How's that for people pleasing? Yeah. And yes, these things still piss me off, although I know better. I get it because you feel like you're doing all the work. That's why they're not your people. And if it's pissing you off, then you belong somewhere else with other people who won't provoke that injustice and that violation feeling within you, because that's why you're angry. You're angry because you feel like there's a massive imbalance and it's not okay. And I understand that completely. So, Michael, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Mama RuPaul. Yes. That's what it is. It's a capacity we have to love ourselves. And the softness is deepening our capacity to love ourselves, which helps us in our healing journey become more sovereign because we've become the safe space for ourselves. It's hard to show up in a way for others that is going to be held in the highest regard if we don't show up for ourselves that way. And I'm not saying we're not held in the highest regard. We are, but to a certain level. We're going to accept folks in our lives that are our capacity or better so that we may learn and move up. That's what we want to surround ourselves. Folks that are at our level of understanding or better so that we can move ourselves forward with examples. Okay? And you end up helping each other, because if somebody's at a better state and you reach that point, then you end up helping each other through things. And that creates a very balanced dynamic. And then nobody's going to be pissed off. You might, if you feel hurt and you're aware of something, you recognize that's an individual who is safe and that doesn't have the intention. So what did they remind me of that needs to be loved within me? Okay. Don't assume everyone is a safe space right out of the gate. I think one of the things that we're trained to do is be trusting right out the gate, right? Trust takes time, and that takes consistency, not just time, consistency over time. That safety piece over an extended period of time, consistently showing up as softness, is what you'll need in order for you to determine whether or not somebody deserves your trust. And this, I'm going to say this and it might upset a few people, but this does not work well if you're only in one dynamic with the individual. Say, for example, long distance relationships. You need to spend an extended amount of time in the same space and have different types of experiences together in the same space so that you can see what their actual reaction and response is in different circumstances. And then when you see the truth of who they are and how they are in their character, it's their character that allows you to, that if they're safe and soft, it allows you to trust them. And that leads to the respect. So that's what I mean by high regard. You end up earning more respect when you are a safe space and a trustworthy person. And that's time and consistency. So the more you show up that way, the more you receive the acknowledgement and attract individuals who are already at that level of healing. Polygrammer says, once I get my act together, I plan to. I get it. And your character name is picked out as Manzita Honey. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I reposted a video today that really spoke volumes. One person lit up walking into a crowd of people in the dark. As they touched people, they walked by, they lit up as well as the light kept spreading and building until everyone was lit. Yes, it was beautiful. Oh, yeah. I love that. Absolutely. We are the light. If we're love and we're acting like love towards ourselves, we're going to emanate that outward. It's going to show. And that is going to, that's the pebble in the pond, right? You're the pebble in the pond. It's going to create that ripple, and other people are going to feel that and say, hey, I want some of that too for me. How do you do that? And then we share. Thank you so much, everyone. This was an amazing show. I love you all so much. And thanks for dealing with my quirkiness today, because, you know, words not happening. But you got me. I love you. I appreciate you. Don't forget to catch tomorrow. We got Brindle's Vision. Tonight we have Messengers. Tomorrow we got Brindle Vision. Wednesday we have Phoenix Talks. Thursday's The Core, and Friday is Lunaria. And you can find me on my website, healingrose.org, and all the socials. And I'll see you in the chats after the show. I love you all so much. Thank you. And thank you, Micah, for making it all happen, because this wouldn't happen without Micah and Lunaria. Thank you. Thank you. I got to do the...
From the soil of your sorrow, petals from pain, new color in tomorrow. You walk through the dark with a soft, steady truth, holding your heart till your heart carries you. This is the blue. This is the blue.
Hey, this is Brindle Wolf.
And I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your nation, your voice, where dreams awaken. Rise awakening, now is the time.
Rise Awakenings. Let's rise together.